Now, with all the news going on, all the terrible news, all the horrible, sad news that's going on in the world today, I have brought you perhaps a palate cleanser. I don't know if it truly is a palate cleanser as much as it is a break in the insanity for just a little bit more insanity. Now, I've talked about at length how, Disney is going down the tubes. We know that, Disney is, pushing a wide array of propaganda in their children's movies, in their feature films. We see this whether it's Snow White or what they've done to Marvel in terms of the woke remakes, and Captain Marvel looks like it's trending towards perhaps the biggest woke backfire of all time. Well, let's talk about the parks. And in fact, a interesting bit of knowledge about those parks that I'm going to share with you. Now, by the way, you can support the channel by heading on over to coffeebrandcoffee.com. Use promo code TheQuartering to save. We've got over 20 different kinds of coffee, from light to dark roast to double calf to decaf. Probably about 15 different flavors, from blueberry cobbler, strawberries and cream, orange creamsicle. So much, cold brews. Our fall flavors are spiked jack-o'-lantern, pumpkin pie, and butterscotch toffee. We also have a dozen organic teas, K-cups, and premium snacks. Coffeebrandcoffee.com, promo code TheQuartering. The crappiest place on earth. Disney theme parks have been hit by so many people leaving number twos in line for rides that cleaners now have a special code to alert them. It's like San Francisco. It's like San Francisco all over again, right? I mean, doesn't San Francisco have an app for this? I'm pretty sure San Francisco has an app for monitoring little tightly piled coils on the street. Disney World may have earned the moniker the happiest place on earth, but visitors and employees alike aren't feeling the magic after witnessing people dropping a two in line and yakking, vomiting. The r/Disney World subreddit is not just a place for fanatics to come together. It fields plenty of complaints about the park's unsanitary conditions, which are corroborated by past and current cast members. Quote, "I'm in the queue for Rise of the Resistance. Someone just let their kid take a dump on the floor, and they just walked out and left it. WTF," a user wrote in a thread 2 months ago. Now, that says more about the parents, probably, than the kid. Kids will do what parents allow them to do, right? I mean, that's what kids do. An employee at the ride elaborated upon the horror, writing, quote, "Fun fact, this was one of 3 related incidents just today. Less fun fact, I was here for all 3 of them. The incidents are also not limited to kids either." Gross. I can't even imagine. I don't know what it costs nowadays to, attend Disney World, but I can't imagine it's cheap, several $100s. I would suspect it costs to attend Disneyland. A person claiming to have recently stayed at the Pop Century Resort in Buena Vista says that they left their room one morning only to encounter a massive adult-sized candy bar on the walkway. The visitor continued, "I have many questions. It wasn't even a full candy bar. It was a half, so they pinched it off." There are frequent reports of other types of fluids as well, including what is referenced as a code V, and illustrated by the next example. I was in line for the Haunted Mansion at Disneyland, and a little girl yacked in line, which, by the way, happens. Kids eat a bunch of junk food, high sugar, high fructose corn syrup. They go on some ride called the Scrambler, and then they yak. I was called to get a code V at a restaurant, And the parents insisted on staying and finishing out the meal while the poor kid that produced it looked miserable. That probably has something to do with it being so insanely expensive. In another thread, a commenter denounced guest behavior while waiting to mount the Avatar-themed flight of the Passage ride, which has wait times up to 40 minutes. Quote, bodily fluids no longer bother me after working at Disney, a park employee commented. Let's just say that the attraction I work at has what cast ended up dubbing, quote, the poop hall, because of the amount of times the guests have gone in there and dropped a Duke. We even put up a camera and that didn't stop it. I don't know. Maybe this kind of stuff has been happening since the beginning of time at Disneyland. But I mean, it's not like that uncommon. It's not that uncommon to see these like huge brawls at Disneyland too. Now, I don't know if it's because they serve booze or if it's because of the long lines or because they've lowered prices. I'm not exactly sure. But it sounds like every guest who goes to Disneyland should probably be forced to watch that video, Poo in the Loo, which is famous to teach people in India to do that instead of leaving it on the street in certain parts of India. A thread was created just 1 month ago. Oh, this triggered vivid memories from former cast members. Good Lord, the poop hallway. One responded, adding, this absolutely gives me war flashbacks. A thread was created just 1 month ago, titled Former CMs of Reddit. How often were the rides shut down because a kid left a 2 on it? I was a CM at Pop Century in the food court and entertainment photography in DLR all the time. Oh, and DLR all the time, one user moaned. It was worse in the food court maybe once a week, and even quite often it was true accidents. Okay, yeah, well, when kids, okay, that's fine. Families come back for lunch exhausted from the sun, dehydrated, add food in the mix, and you could get involuntary expulsions from the other end. And while these things are extreme enough, other park guests have found creative ways to ruin a custodian's day. According to a former Haunted Mansion cast member, the attraction rarely shut down due to number 2s, but absolutely did shut down for a handful of times of human ash and bone being scattered from the ride. What? What? Despite the sentiment, these piles of ash are unceremoniously vacuumed up with a giant yellow vacuum that is worn by a custodial cast member. 2 former Disneyland custodial team members opened up about the horrors they witnessed in a book titled Cleaning the Kingdom, Insider Tales of Keeping Walt's Dreams Spotless. In their account, Ken Pellman and Lynn Barron reveal the code name for an incident involving the Dukes, Human Code H. The term originally referred to as horse crap, meaning custodial worker had to clean up after one of the animals on Main Street. This term was later modified because so many people were doing it. The most extreme story that Pellman could recall occurred at Indiana Jones Adventure in Disneyland. There were a pair of individual use restrooms just backstage from the North Unload. The author explained, this is mainly used for cast members, but guests could occasionally use it. A woman who did not know this burst into the control room for her attraction and deposited her gift right there. Pellman quipped, it must have been challenging for the ride operator to stay at their post before it was all cleaned up. Some rides with notoriously long waits, like Flight of the Passage, have restrooms mid-queue. All guests have to do is ask an employee who is far happier to direct you to a bathroom than have to clean up your mess. Yeah, I would argue that that's probably true. I think people would probably prefer to save your spot. I'm sure that everyone around you would probably rather save your spot or let you save your spot than have you, leave a crunchy surprise in the aisle and have to stand up. By the way, it's also a huge health hazard. Now, I don't know. People, it's just, maybe this type of thing has always been going on, but it's just another stain, so to speak, on Disney. Quite frankly, it's pretty disgusting. And, I think for the amount of money people pay to go to Disney, they might actually want to, keep it clean. They might want to ban people from doing that. I mean, just letting your kid do it, I think is a parent, speaks to parenting more than anything else. People have accidents, kids have accidents, but that's very different than dropping trowel and leaving a candied surprise for the people that work there and for everyone else in line to step in. Gross.